What is going on, guys? Miles here, and in this video we'll be taking a look at the patch update 1.05 for Call of Duty World War II multiplayer, which was added to the game today. Sledgehammer Games have posted what has been changed with the weapons and the basic trainings, but for a lot of this stuff they didn't give exact numbers, so we kind of have to speculate on how much has been changed. Let's start off with the weapons which have been buffed, and there's not many of these. It is mainly nerfs in this recent patch, but the toggle action shotgun has had increased damage at a really close range, which I think is a good change overall, because I thought the shotguns were really poor in this game, to be honest, at least prior to this patch. And even with the incendiary shells, I would often get so many hit marks from such a close range with these things, so hopefully the shotguns will be a little bit more viable now. The Bren light machine gun has had increased damage per shot, which I think is probably a good change. I don't think I actually saw anyone use this LMG, at least since the game has been released, so hopefully the LMGs will be a little bit more competitive now, along with the assault rifles and submachine guns. And finally, for the buffs, the LMG bipod has actually been buffed for the armoured division, as you now have increased ADS time when in bipod stance, so I'm not sure exactly how much of an impact that's going to have, but I guess it's a buff nonetheless. So that's it for all the buffs, and now we can move on to all of the nerfs in the game, starting off with the espionage basic training. This thing has had reduced painted time from 10 seconds to 6 seconds, which is quite a big change in terms of time, and they've also made it so you only get painted on the radar when you're actually hit by a bullet, which I thought was the case anyway, but I guess not. So that perk was super overpowered, at least before this patch, and hopefully now it won't be so OP. There have been nerfs to a bunch of the assault rifles in the game. For example, the bar assault rifle now has a decreased fire rate and an increased hip fire spread. So once again, we don't really have the numbers for these, but I did think the bar was probably one of the best guns in the game, and it is what I used my weapon unlock token on. And this gun was ridiculously good because it was a rifle, but you could often outgun SMGs at a close range, so I did think this gun was pretty broken, and hopefully now, like I said earlier, it should be on par with the other weapons in the game. The STG has seen a tiny nerf as it now has a widened hip fire spread. Not sure exactly if that's going to nerf it a lot. Probably not, because I don't remember ever using the hip fire with the STG anyway. And finally, the FG42 rifle now has increased recoil and a widened hip fire spread. I didn't think the FG42 was super overpowered, but I did think it was a pretty decent gun. So a lot of the assault rifles did get nerfed, but I think that is kind of like an indirect buff to SMGs in the game, which I think is a good change overall. The machine pistol has seen a slight nerf as it now has a worse range, which I'm not too sure about because I didn't really think the machine pistol was that overpowered anyway, but I didn't really use it, so I'm not exactly sure myself. And finally, snipers have actually been nerfed as they fixed a bug with all sniper rifles zooming to the exact center when aiming down the sight. So this is probably going to make quickscoping a bit harder in multiplayer, but I did hear sniping was super easy in CoD World War II prior to this patch, so hopefully it won't ruin quickscoping, because I mean it is pretty fun to do if you like sniping, but it's going to be a bit harder to do now. But that just about sums up all the big changes made in patch 1.05 for Call of Duty World War II multiplayer. There were some other changes which I'm not going to go over because they were mainly bug fixes for the deranking issue and some improvements to connectivity. But let me know what you think of these changes down in the comments below, and if you found the video useful, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Call of Duty. But I'll see you guys in my next video.